Hello, I'm Brenda Martin with Inside Huntsville, and welcome to our show today. The purpose of our show is to give you, our viewing audience, an opportunity to learn more about the services available through the city of Huntsville and to learn more about our community partners. Today, we have the privilege of talking with one of those partners, Huntsville-Madison County Health Department. Cheryl Clay is the Public Health Environmentalist Vector Control Supervisor. Their telephone number is 256-532-1915, and we will give that number again to you later on in the show. Cheryl, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And we're so excited about having you. Tell us, first of all, what services does the Vector Control provide to the public?
The Vector Control Division of the Madison County Health Department, we started as a partnership between the City of Huntsville and the Health Department in the 1970s. We serve the areas of Huntsville that are located within Madison County. The current services we provide, if there's any major rat problems in the area, we advise and help with that. We investigate large bird roosts. We assist the city with sewage problems on public sewer systems, and the main thing that we do that most people are aware of is we provide mosquito control services for the city.
Okay, your office provides, as you said, mosquito control services for the city, and you, of course, asked to come on so that you could educate our citizens on how to protect themselves from this mosquito-borne disease.
Yes.
Now, how long is the mosquito season?
Now, the mosquito season in this area is going to depend on temperature and rainfall. Typically, you'll start to see the mosquitoes breed in the spring as it starts to warm up and you have a lot of rainfall. Usually, we'll start to see breeding usually in March, and then it'll go up until usually October. When the night temperatures start to really cool off, you'll really see a decrease in activity. The mosquitoes typically will go dormant for the winter season. Our fogging season, where we operate the fog trucks on city streets, typically starts in May and ends in October. Again, it's based on temperature when we start and finish, and we fog based on surveillance of the mosquito population in the city.
Interesting question, but what type of mosquitoes do we have here?
Well, we have two types. We have what is called the floodwater mosquito. You have those in your swamp areas. So typically in the spring, when everything is really wet and we have a lot of rain, you'll have a lot more floodwater mosquitoes. So the citizens that live near swamp areas will see an increase in mosquitoes during that time. And also you will see after large rain events, you can have an increase in the population of the floodwater mosquitoes then as well. We also have what we call the container breeders. They like to breed and live near people. These are the types that you're typically going to have in around your home. The most common one we have around here is called the Asian tiger mosquito. This mosquito originated from Asia, came over in the 1980s and used tires and started out in Texas. Since then, it's moved throughout all the southeast. It's even up north now, and it likes any little bit of water you might have around your home. Even a teaspoon is enough to breed this mosquito. It can include several areas: clogged gutters, tires, kids' toys in the corner, that tarp you have covering something, wheelbarrows, saturated flower pots that don't have the holes in the bottom to drain, or those little dishes you have below your flower pots. So those are things you really need to look for around your home and make sure that you keep all of that water dumped out.
Well, Cheryl, what about those of us that have pools?
Yes. Well, mosquitoes only breed in stagnant water. So if you have a properly operating swimming pool, mosquitoes are not a concern. However, there are a lot of swimming pools throughout Huntsville that are not maintained. The interesting thing about those pools is most of the time those pools turn into a pond environment. You'll have the frogs come in, the dragonflies, and everything that you would have in a typical pond, and you would have what we call biological control. nature takes care of itself, and those typically are not a breeding problem. So very rarely do we find swimming pools breeding, but if someone has a pool and they're not operating it, they can go buy what is called mosquito dunks. They look like little tiny donuts. They sell them at your hardware store. They're very inexpensive. Just throw a few in there based on the size of your pool. Every 30 days it releases a little bacteria that's only specific to mosquitoes. You don't have to worry about your dog or cat or any of the other animals in the area, and then you will not have a concern with mosquitoes in that swimming pool.
Because that is something that, you know, there are some neighborhoods that
they do. It's unusual for mosquitoes to breed in that large amount of water.
Okay.
And usually swimming pools are in full sunlight. That's not a favorable environment for mosquitoes. You can have a whole swimming pool that's green, not breeding, but a bucket next to it that's breeding a lot. So, you know, it doesn't mean a pool won't breed, but it's not something we commonly find. But, you know, when we receive complaints on those, we'll go check and verify they're not causing a problem.
One of the things I'm interested in, what areas do you service? Because not too long ago, I had a conversation with a young lady who lives in Madison County.
Yes.
And she talked about how the mosquitoes were just terrible in her area. Well, I wasn't sure if, in fact, if you fogged, if you will,
no,
that area.
we are actually solely funded by the city of Huntsville, so that's why, you know, we're almost just a branch of the city. The county has their fogging programs through their county commissioners. So if anyone in the county is having a problem, call their local county commissioner, and then Madison City has their own vector control program.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Yes,
now, what are some of the diseases that mosquitoes cause?
They cause many different diseases. People are very familiar with malaria, yellow fever, which used to be very bad here in the South many years ago, but you know, that was eradicated in the 1950s. The diseases of concern for this area now, of course, West Nile virus, most people are familiar with that. Your reservoir for West Nile are the birds. So the mosquito has to bite an infected bird, and then that mosquito becomes infected and can bite a human. However, a mosquito cannot bite someone with West Nile and get the virus that way. So that's a good thing. And the positive side about West Nile virus is most people who become infected do not have symptoms. Only about 20% will have symptoms, and if they do, it's more like flu-like symptoms.
Okay.
Only about 1% will have the very serious neuroinvasive nervous system problems. So typically most people will not have a problem with West Nile, but one that a lot of people are probably hearing in the news now is the chikungunya virus.
Yes.
Yes, it is now established in the Caribbean, and we have actually had two locally transmitted cases in Florida, meaning they caught the disease from mosquitoes in the area. Right now, we do have the Asian tiger mosquito can carry chikungunya, but the mosquito that's causing the problems in Florida and the Caribbean right now, that type of mosquito is not in our area. Okay. So it is possible that at some point, you know, it may come to this area. It's typically never fatal. You know, it can cause fever and extreme joint pain are the symptoms, but that's why everyone just must be vigilant about protecting themselves, you know, from mosquitoes.
And that leads me right into my next question.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is, how can the citizens of Huntsville protect themselves?
The best way to protect yourself is to not get bit. So my number one thing I tell everybody, don't breed them. Don't breed them. And a lot of people are not aware that they're breeding them. That's why you really have to take a look around your home and look for that teaspoon of water, of stagnant water. It's not, you know, a lot of people think that big swimming pool is the problem, but it's that little tiny thing. You know, I've even seen mosquitoes breeding in magnolia leaves that have fallen on the ground.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So you have to really look. So make sure you're not breeding. You know, try to keep your vegetation manicured as best as you can, because once mosquitoes emerge from the water, they like to rest in shade. So if you have a lot of shade in your yard, you can have more adult mosquitoes resting in your yard. And if you are going to be outside and mosquitoes are present, you need to wear a long sleeve shirt and pants, tightly woven, wear your insect repellent, any way to cover your body to protect from those bites. Now your typical floodwater mosquitoes, their active time of day is dawn and dusk. However, the Asian tiger mosquito likes the daytime. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the major time for that mosquito. So if you're out during the day working and you're having a problem, you really need to protect yourself.
Now, tell me exactly what type of protection should one put on their skin?
Well, any CDC approved insect repellent will work. Anything with DEET.
With what now?
DEET. DEET as an ingredient, oil of lemon eucalyptus. There's several different types. There's a link on our website to several of the repellents you can use. The main thing about repellents is to be sure that you follow the directions.
Okay.
That's very important. Some of them are not meant to be in contact with your actual skin, but it's okay to have on your clothing. So you just need to make sure to read the instructions and follow that.
We've already given the telephone number, but why don't we give our viewing audience your website?
Yes, it's www.huntsvilleal.gov/vector control, and no space between vector control.
Okay. How often does vector control trugs fog?
Okay. We use an integrated pest management approach, meaning we don't fog on a schedule. We try to approach it, to minimize fogging if we can, but unfortunately this time of year you have mosquitoes everywhere, so we're everywhere in the city. But we spray based on our surveillance of the mosquito population. So if we find one area that's just having a really severe problem, we'll pull a truck and get it over there. Again, it is August. You're in the height of the mosquito season. Everybody's got mosquitoes right now. So we are trying to get through the city as quickly as we can. It's early August, so we have been through everywhere 4 times, and some places we're working through our 5th time through.
This is throughout the city of Huntsville.
Yes, ma'am. Since we do have mosquitoes everywhere, we're just getting to everybody as quickly as we can. Of course, if it's raining, we can't fog. Or we only fog Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. to midnight, except for state holidays. And we have had a few nights we couldn't fog because it's raining, and that's unfortunate when you have to ground the whole fleet. But it usually averages out to about twice a month that we're able to get around to everyone.
Now, how does the fog work?
Okay. The way the fog works is the truck drives down your street about 10 miles per hour. We use a very ultra low volume equipment. When it comes out of the back of the truck in ideal conditions, it'll disperse about 150 feet on each side of the truck as it goes down the road. And the main thing to know about the fog truck is there's no residual, except for maybe about an hour it's in the air, so it's not going to still be hanging out the next day or anything. And it's only going to kill mosquitoes that are in flight in that fog, as you go down the street. So if you're breeding them, you're going to have brand new mosquitoes the next day. So that's why not breeding them is the most important. That takes care of the problem at the source. It's a good part of integrated pest management, because the fog truck, is just a limited use on that, how it works.
Sure, okay.
Right.
Now, if I'm outside, should I be concerned if I see the fog truck?
Right, well, a lot of people are concerned about that. We actually use a very eco-friendly product. It is approved by the EPA for what we are using it for. We only actually put out about, it's about a little over an ounce per acre. And that's a very small amount. That's within label, and it does enough to take care of the mosquitoes, and it is not supposed to be harmful to humans or animals if properly used. However, we train our fog truck drivers. If you're out walking on the street, as they pass you, they cut it off.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's a courtesy to you.
Yes, yes.
But it can be harmful if directly applied to water inappropriately. It can be harmful to fish, but we don't apply it to water. And it is a product that can be harmful to bees. But what we do is we work really closely with our beekeepers in the area. We know where they're located, and we avoid their areas until after sunset because we don't want to harm the bees in any way.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you have gone through the city at least four times.
Working on our fifth.
And you're working on your
Yes, ma'am.
fifth time. Well, if I was wanted to find out the last time my street had been fogged, what do I do?
Yes,
How do
ma'am.
I do that?
Well, we are very lucky through the partnership with the city and the GIS department. We have a website, and the GIS department has put a feature on that website where you click on there, you type in your address, it'll come up, it'll show you your map area that you're located in, the last time your street was fogged, and how many times you've been fogged this year. And we update that daily.
Updated daily?
Yes, ma'am. I review the maps every morning, and then I try to get that information in the computer by noon, but at least before I leave at 5.
What are your hours?
Our typical office hours are 8 to 5, but we do have a second shift in the evening with the fogger, and we have a night supervisor that comes in. So sometimes he might do some complaints and some things like that after 5, which can be good because some people that work will be at home, and he can try to help them out as well. But our typical office hours are 8 to 5.
Okay. And how many employees do you have in the vector control department?
There are only 3 of us that are full-time, but during the summer we do hire temporary folks that help. One of our biggest challenges is finding people who want to drive the fog trucks. So if anybody's interested next year, please contact me because it could be a great help to us to have people that are willing to do that job and that can obviously do it well and be very responsible. So
and those hours are what?
Well, they're typically from 7 p.m. to midnight, Monday through Friday, throughout the fogging season. So, we have to find folks to do this every year. We have some people that return, which is great, but we're always looking for some new people that want to work with us. So if you want a little extra income or something like that, keep us in mind. First of the year, we always look to hire people.
And what are the qualifications? What do you need to, obviously a driver's license?
Yes, a driver's license, a good driving record. Must be 21 years old. Need to be able to read a street map. Very helpful, very helpful. And obviously we only look for very responsible, courteous, and conscientious people.
Sure, sure. Now, if I'm having a problem with mosquitoes, not only in my home, but also in my business.
Yes.
What do I do?
We get a lot of mosquito complaints, and the best thing we can do to help you is for us to actually come to your home or your business and take a look around. If we can find the source of them, then we can maybe solve your problem permanently. Sometimes that can be very difficult. If you live next to a swamp, that's something that we can't exactly resolve. But if it's a container breeding issue, or if you're a business and the business over here is breeding in something, which is very common, we find that a lot. There's no charge for that service. We're just here to help, to protect the public and to help you that call us. So we're more than happy to do that. And then, that also helps us assess the mosquito population in different areas, because if we go there and we're just wiping mosquitoes out of our face, obviously that's a high priority situation. So we'll get a truck there as soon as possible to bring that population under control.
Cheryl, do you find there's more mosquitoes in certain areas?
Not really. You will have more trouble in the areas that are located near swamps in the early part of the year, or when it's really wet. Like last year, it was really wet all season, and so we had problems with the swamp water mosquitoes all year. So that really affected those people. This time of year, it's drier this year. You typically, the swamps that are a problem have dried up. So your biggest issue are the people that are breeding on their properties.
a great service that you provide. I had no idea that you would go to the homes.
Oh,
and,
yes, ma'am.
and also
That's
businesses.
our number one priority.
So do you do that often?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Whenever we get a complaint, we do our best to respond within 24 to 48 hours.
Wonderful. Let's repeat that telephone number and the website
Yes,
for our
yes.
viewers.
The number is 256-532-1915, and our website is www.huntsvilleal.gov/vector control, no space.
Okay. My producer tells me I'm running out of time, but could you quickly also tell us, share with us, what other areas do you provide? What other services do you provide?
Well, the other main service we provide are for rat control.
Okay.
If you are having trouble with rats in your area, usually that's again a result of human activities. Don't feed the birds if you're having a problem. Don't leave animal food outside. Pick up your animal feces. Rats will eat animal feces. Keep your garbage in containers with tight-fitting lids. Unfortunately, rats do like gardens and compost too, so you have to be a little bit vigilant and make sure you seal up all openings to your home that are bigger than 1/4 inch.
Okay.
Rats and mice can enter your home, but that's another service we provide if you're having a problem. We don't do interior rodent control, but we'll come out, maybe give you a little advisement, see if there's something we can do to help out in the area.
So you provide a lot of services to our community,
We do.
don't you?
We do as many as we can.
Yes, yes. Well, I'll tell you what, it has been wonderful to have you on the show today.
Thank
you
you.
so much for sharing that information.
Thank you.
So, is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, we may dump out that water. And if you're having a major problem, give us a call and we'll see what we can do to help you out.
Okay.
And we do have a lot of information on our website.
On the website.
Lots
yes.
of information, links to the CDC and EPA as well.
And our producer will have that, we'll put that up also for
Wonderful.
our viewers. Well, that's our show for today. Join us again for Inside Huntsville. I'm Brenda Martin. Thank you so much for joining us.